What is good, my fellow citizens? Zero here, and I am bringing you part 2 of my mini-series on Astro Colony. So if you haven't had a chance to watch the first video, I went over sort of the basics of the game, kind of what I've been enjoying about it, and the sort of core of my colony. Today I'm going to take a look at my farm number 1. So this is the sort of first expansion I made of my main colony. And obviously this has evolved over a very long time, but I'm going to show you the near finished product here. I have made some improvements on my latest save, although that is unstable and crashes. So this is the furthest I have gone on the build where it is still stable. But I want to take you on a quick tour around, just share some of the things that I have done and built on this. And we're going to start off in my cargo slash fighter bay here. So I built a little cargo ship that has everything you need to escape the colony. You have your sort of control panel that will move your thrusters. You have your fusion engine or your nuclear engine there. Plenty of storage. You have oxygen, water, as well as, I can't remember what else was back there, but you have all the necessities. You've got the water tanks up in the side there. So everything you need to escape and form a new colony right here on this vessel. Right now I have it docked up, so it is gaining power and water from the station, but you can remove that, undock it, and actually fly this around independently. We're going to go ahead and take off in the shuttle just to get a grand overview of the whole station here. So this is farm number 2 right here. Last video I went over my core, which is this section right in here, and then the sort of the north and south wings are my mine number 1 and mine number 2, but this is my farm number 1. So here is the sort of landing bay that I just took off from right there. I love these huge steel pillars. I use them in a lot of my designs. I think they're gorgeous. And then of course I use these steel beams a lot just to add structure. There's my little escape vessel in case everything all goes to hell. This is my cargo bay right here for the farm. I will take you on a tour of that in a minute. And of course we have just some of our standard hallways and everything connecting some of the living quarters in there as well, which we'll go over. This is one of the main, or at least the executive living suites right here on this farm. It's got its own nice little walkway out to the black hole observatory, and we'll take a look at that a bit as well. Coming around over to the other side, I do have one more sort of communications tower up here where another crew can live and work, and then we have just sort of a more efficiency style living quarters here tucked under that cliffside with all of our sort of asteroid resource gatherers here. And then we get over to our connection to our core. Again, I went over the core in the first video of this series, showing you sort of my standard docking ports and whatnot. Here, I'll get to that because this docking port is built straight into the side of this colony. This is actually kind of what inspired my design of this docking port, was this particular farm. This was my first farm. And so I kind of thought, well, I like the way that this is coming out here, so I actually built the tunnel out. Originally, this was actually all destroyed, and I built it back up around with that to go around the docking port, and then where the sort of landing part fit right on top, which I thought was beautiful, to add a door so it could come out right onto the surface. Got a catwalk here. You also have some catwalks on the side, which go into some side port doors on either side of, whoops, crashing into my station. So again, I have doors on either side from these ladders down from the docking bay. Let's go around to the other side here. So you have some tunnels connecting from the upper level of the farm over to a couple of these control towers. I have control towers on both sides. These are, of course, connected by ladders to the main docking station and all other parts. We've got our catwalk across over here, which goes across all of the asteroid snatchers. Don't really need that going this far because there's nothing connected. I think originally I had thought maybe I was going to expand these asteroid catchers over here, but then I decided to make this little communications tower, which I was pretty pleased with, overhanging my farm out here. Around most of the outside, though, is just these asteroid catchers. This is a resource-producing farm, and primarily what they are catching, or at least the one resource that I've programmed them all to catch, is ice. You'll notice that they all are, not all, there's some other things, like there's some gold, looks like some copper, maybe some iron. There's some other things that they're catching, but it's primarily ice, and that's because I need that ice for all of these water makers. So you see all of these ice machines. These are my ice machines going in here and filling up all of these water production tanks. I need a ton of water for this farm. Actually, that is one of the hardest resources to maintain a large farm like this. So you can see the farm down below. I actually have an entire glass floor over this, so this is all sort of quarantined off. I tried to make it seem like it was an actual atmospheric bubble down there, which it seems like you should, since there's like pigs and cows and plants that kind of need, well, actually there's not cows on this side, but there are chickens that need an atmosphere. So I thought it kind of made sense. I put hatches all over the place so you can actually access the surface from underneath, but we'll take a tour inside there. This is the door that goes down into, you can see the backside of the cargo there. It may be a little hard to see from this angle, but you have a water reservoir there, and then actually through that window back there you can see the starport, or the landing bay for this fighter and my other escape vessel. I heavily rely on solar because I love it. I don't have to worry about feeding resources to it. It does take up a lot more space than, say, like one of your fusion reactors, and some people might prefer to try to reduce their space and just use like the fusion or nuclear fuel rods. I personally have kind of found a really good system, especially when I'm creating these arrays of these water machines, as well as just creating general power for all of my asteroid catchers, whatever you call them. So the asteroid catchers, right, I just set these down with a 4 solar panels. Way easier. I can put them anywhere. I don't have to have them connected to a grid. Oh dang! What did I do there? Oh no! So I just crashed my ship into. All right, I'll fix that later. I think I may have just messed up. So maybe not. Okay, so that is pretty much the tour of the outside. I think that gives you a pretty good sense of all of the things that I'm going to show you, and we're going to walk around from the inside and kind of see what this looks like here from the inside of my farm. Great landing. Stuck it. 10 out of 10. All right, so from here, let me maybe turn off my floating. So I put a ladder there, a ladder here. I thought I had a ladder here. No, this is just a straight up, oops, jumping all over the place. This is just a straight up welcome mat from the door right inside. And here is my first water reservoir, which is full. I like to see that in my farm. But you can also come in through this door here, which is probably a little more appropriate since this will send you right into the main corridor. So when you dock, you get off your beautiful ship, you come in, you're like, ooh, this place is nice. Forget that I'm going to be living in a little pod. All right, so over here to the right, we've got our cargo bay. Nice, two big cargo storages here. On either side, on either pylon, we can go outside. We can get up to the roof here if we need to access the cargo bay or maintenance any of these asteroid catchers up here, which nothing ever breaks down in space. A few more little aesthetic touches of some just random cargo boxes there. You can also get out on that side. There is another stairway out, so if you go up this ladder here, you will be able to get out to the surface level of the farm up here. So we will come out, and then again, you can service or maintenance any of these water machines. Come around here over this and maintenance any of these machines. And of course, we have this glass cover over the entire farm. We can get down there through any of these hatches. But this just allows us access to the surface. Back down into our cargo. Look at that beautiful cargo bay. So clean and tidy. Everything we've been making. All that food. Look at all that bread and soup and fried eggs. Space food. Alright, so this is sort of the executive suite on the farm number 1 here. You've got couples lodging here, 2 beds, nice little library, beautiful view out to the black hole over there. Little console, little private office back here. If you want to look at your catwalk, some beautiful stars in the background. And we have our kitchen, dining, and then we can take a nice lovely walk out to our yard in space. We've got some trees growing somehow out here with no atmosphere. And of course our romantic vista with the black hole in the background. Now you can actually, there is a component you can build to actually open up the black hole to go into the next dimension. I'm not really sure why they even added this into the game. It's dumb. You open the black hole, you go into the next dimension, and you basically just lose all of your work. You start over from the beginning. I don't know why you do that. You just start a new game if you want to start a new game. But anyways, that's a mechanic. So here is my beautiful vista of the executive suite of farm number 1. That is Chief Farmer's hut. Not a bad gig here. Got a nice little skylight up there, giving you some natural lighting. They can come out here, husband and wife, manage the cargo, call in the ships into the shipyard. They've got this beautiful view out into the farm, this glassed hallway, all the way over here. Now they can go up to farm control. So this is the farm control station. You have pretty much full visibility over the full farm. Obviously, this is not a component for controlling the farm. This is if you want to move the ship, this is the thruster control. But I thought it looked nice right here. This is non-functional really at all. You can assign a specialist here to train, but these are really just aesthetic. It'd be nice if they had more functional or more options for consoles. I would love to add some variety to this, but we've got our computer cores back there. Of course, you can go up or you can go under. Again, this all kind of developed organically. I was building these piece by piece. I'm like, oh, I built these farms now. Like, okay, what do I want to build here now? Oh, let's build this control station. That fits right under that. Let me carve out this mountain here and build this in here. Got my power going underneath. Again, I like these gratings to kind of see where my utilities are going. You know, you may do this differently. I don't know. I would love to see or hear how you might do some things differently than I have here. Most of what I've done in this game, I've just been kind of winging it. Like, oh, I can maybe put that here or there. Here is my second reservoir for the farm number 1. This obviously is more than enough water for this entire farm. I have plenty of water stored, way more actually than I need. I'm probably wasting a lot. My water production on the main production level up there is producing way more water than I'm actually using, which is why I have a surplus and why it is always full, which is a good thing. I don't want to run out of water. So this hatch here will go out to the emergency exit and catwalk up to back to the connector bridge to the core. This was our connector bridge here. You can see that this is not really used anymore. It's starting to fill up with some junk and storage. But let's go back into our emergency hatch because we're actually going to go through this door right here, which will lead us up through this little spiral staircase, back up to the production level. So we're back up at the production level of the farm. Again, we have sort of our maintenance shafts, our utilities. This will bridge us back over again to the docking port. Or we can run across this bridge, and right from our stairwell, which took us up here, we have our sort of economy lodging here. Still beautiful view. I mean, I've seen much worse working conditions than this. That's a gorgeous view of the core, mine number 2, and you have this little Zen garden over here where you can access back around to the cargo unit. So this connects all the way back over here to the cargo bay, which goes down to the shuttle bay, which also connects to the executive farm director's suite. Come on, get down there. Go. There we go. All right, so here's back to the control station. So we've covered the reservoir number 2 over there and the stairs up to the top. Now that stairway goes all the way not just to the production level, but also all the way up to the asteroid level, asteroid catcher level. So we can take this all the way up to, whoops, the top floor here where we kind of started off. Actually, I don't know if I've been on this side yet. This is just a very big farm. I've put these sort of little observation towers on both sides, just so these are kind of here to see, make sure all of our asteroid catchers are operating. There's one on the other side as well, you can see. So you have a couple operators just kind of manning and watching the farm up here. You've got the control station down on the inside, watching the farm down there. We can come around this catwalk all the way across to our communications center here. And this, you can go up to the roof where we can contact aliens. You got a little patio out here, maybe throw a couple chairs, lawn chairs, a cooler, a beer, I don't know. Watch the asteroids come in. So this one has a living quarters as well. A little table, and of course his control console to do any work that he might have to do out here in the communication station. This is all above the Zen garden there and our living quarters the economy living quarters. All right, I think that is most of the living quarters. Let's actually look at the farm itself, and it might be easier to do that from above to start with here. So on this wing of the farm, I have chickens, and this produces my eggs. And for each branch, basically, I've tried to provide enough grain. So most of these farm plots are grain. It looks like there are some sunflowers being grown on the same plots. I'm not sure why. It should be grain pretty much the whole way. Apparently some of these little rascals are bugged and they're producing grain where they should be producing sunflowers, and they're producing sunflowers where they should be producing grain. Anyways, all of this grain pretty much gets shipped out and sent to these chicken farms right here. So you see this grain, these are grain farms right here, grain farm, grain farm, grain farm. You see it just pooped out some grain right there. Comes along, comes around here, and then all of my grain gets sucked into here, 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 here. And these are logic blocks put on here, so you can basically say, you know, every fourth or every fifth bag of whatever resource gets directed left or right or forward. There's a lot of different logic blocks that you can use to kind of up your production and kind of designate where resources go. I try to not rely as much on logic blocks as I do on just straight up layout and design. I've tried to put enough grain farms here that will keep these chicken farms constantly fed, that they will never be hungry. You see that that one's missing some grain at the very end there. So, oh, also, what are you guys just sleeping there for? Why are you not? What are you doing? What are you doing, you lazy? Well, I know why you're not doing anything, because you don't have any grain. But what are you two doing? Lazy robots. I swear. Okay. Sunflowers, I'm not actually sure what this resource does in the game. It's not used for making any food that I can tell, and yeah, I have a ton of it that's just unused. But I'm growing it anyways, just so I have all of the resources. Here, these grain farms are sending their grain this way, as well as these grain farms, which are sending their grain this way, because pigs take a lot of grain. So here's my pig farms here, 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 and here. So I've got 4 pig farms there that are making them bacons. Nom, 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 nom. And then, of course, I've got some tomato farms right over here as well. So this produces my tomatoes, my sunflower, my pork, and my eggs. I think I actually do get a little bit of grain left over from this as well that is also sent out, which I use to turn into bread. So I think that's a piece of grain right there, or maybe that's sunflower, I'm not sure. But you can see my hams, my eggs, maybe that's sunflower, maybe that's wheat, I'm not sure. But that's the basic layout of my farm. We'll go down this hatch and take a closer look at what I've got cooking down there. If I can get down the hole. Alright, so again, I have these ladders going up. Now, normally on some of my on the other farm, you'll see that I actually have a raised walkway, and I probably should do the same on this, because who wants to walk across a conveyor belt? That's just dangerous. So I would actually put a little stairway and a raised walkway over this, so I wouldn't have to step on the conveyor belt, but I didn't. So you're just going to have to imagine that you're going to lose a leg. Somebody's going to lose a leg there. It's going to happen. With all of my farms, I had, again, a pretty consistent setup. I would have these, 2 apart, where I'd be able to put a couple of the needed power supplies attached, as well as connecting my water and power to each one through basically this system along the back. And I felt like this was about the most efficient setup I could get and not interfere. I don't understand why those guys are just, there's no reason they should be there. Like, normally if they're not working, they're parked in their station back there. Maybe they can't get there. I don't know. These guys don't have a problem. What's your problem? These guys don't have a problem. What's your problem? All right. Other than that, you know, this, oh wait, I haven't showed you this side over here. Okay, so I've got my catwalk set up over my utilities. It connects, you know, again to that outlet there. Also, you know, right down back over here to my control station, and exit out the front side back to my core. Here, again, we have exit number 2 right around the backside, emergency exit number 2, and we have a stairs up here to access the other water creation factory, and we can take this around the backside here where we can get up to my observation deck on this side of the farm here. From here you can see all of my asteroid collectors on this side, my water production along this side, which is connected through this tunnel over to this side, which is connected to this side. So it's all pretty much connected around, and you get back over on this side to the landing bay. Right back where we started this beautiful tour. So that is my farm number 1. This was my first farm. It has not looked this way the whole time. It has gone through many stages of evolution to get to this point. I typically will build things in stages. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna build out a residence here, and so I'll kind of clean out that whole area, remove all of the rock, and then start building it out. And like, okay, I'm going to add this and this and this. I'm like, oh, I'm going to build a cargo bay here. How can I connect these things? Oh, I'm going to build a landing bay here. How am I going to connect those things? That's kind of typically how these things evolve. They evolve part by part by part. I don't usually just design and build this thing all at once. It is a constant changing ecosystem to get to this beautiful, well-oiled machine. But that is farm number 1. I think I showed you all of its glory. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you're enjoying this mini series on Asteroid Colony. Stay tuned for the last part, part 3, farm number 2. I think this is the one that I put the most effort into, is farm number 2. So there's a lot to show you on that one, but I will see you in the next video. Cheers.